Hello Superset Maniacs and welcome back to my channel. I have another interesting subject for you guys today, and I want to talk about the 2020 Mr. Olympia event, and more specifically about the potential lineup we can have at this year's Olympia. And to make things even more fun, I want to give you guys a preview to this show if all of these guys decide to show up or are allowed to compete and end up on that stage later this year. And I'm talking about the 4 past Mr. Olympia winners, the 7-time champ Heath, the 2018 Mr. Olympia Shawn Rhoden, the 2019 Mr. Olympia Brandon Curry, the 2020 and current Mr. Olympia Big Ramy. I'm also talking about the 7-time 212 Mr. Olympia champion Flex Lewis, who's switching to men's open division. So we can say that we can have a total of 5 Mr. Olympia winners on the same stage at the same time. I'm also talking about the guy who can beat them all, the uncrowned Mr. Olympia Greene. So my preview is an actual comparison between all of these guys on some of their best or their most recent physiques. We start with the front double biceps, and I'll be using 2018 Heath. That's a very underrated physique for him. He lost the show to Rhoden, but mostly because of his stomach during the transition between the poses. So the shots we have here are pretty impressive. We have 2018 Rhoden, 2019 Arnold Classic Brandon, 2016 Arnold Classic Greene, his last show ever, 2018 Olympia for Flex Lewis, and 2020 for Big Ramy. The best 2 guys in this pose are and Rhoden for me, that's why they sit in the middle of our call out. Brandon and Ramy are also impressive, and Phil and Flex are the ones that I'm counting out in this pose, in spite of their great arms, but because of their overall structures. My pick for winning this pose would be Greene, but nobody can know for sure if he can be at the same level as 5 years ago. Next pose is the Frontal Add Spread, and my favorites for this pose are Brandon and Big Ramy, but if Brandon can't step up his legs, I'd put Kai in his place. Shawn Rhoden looks great as well, and yet again, Phil and Flex are the worst in this pose, like I mentioned in the last one, mainly because of their overall structure. My pick for this pose is Big Ramy. The side chest is a pose where all 6 of these guys have a chance. Big Ramy leans down a lot, that's why he appears to be that short, and him alongside Phil are my top 2 choices, but everyone can win this pose depending on their conditioning and overall shape in the day of the show. We turn to the back, and for me Shawn Rhoden and Big Ramy are the least impressive in this pose, the back double biceps. They both lack muscle thickness in the lower back region. My top choices are Phil and Kai, with Phil being in the pole position. Brandon and Flex Lewis can also be a threat if they bring up their legs in Brandon's case. As for Flex, he will be for sure bigger, not having a weight cap like in the 212 division, but nobody knows for sure how he would actually look. Up next we have the rear lat spread, and Phil and Flex are in the middle, which means they are the 2 favorites in my eyes. They hold this pose in a similar way, showcasing the details more than the width, something that I appreciate in this pose. Phil has more muscle thickness, but Flex, like I mentioned earlier, should get much bigger in men's open division. Big Ramy and Kai, on the other hand, focus more on width, and combined with the other details like conditioning and presentation, can also win this pose. Brandon and Shawn are the least impressive, Brandon because of the lower body, and Shawn because of the upper body. Brandon's upper body combined with Shawn's lower body would battle for first place though. Next is the side try, and normally Phil without the stomach issue would run away with this pose. Otherwise, Brandon is my favorite as they look in these shots. Flex also had a good set of tries, but he needs more mass and a better execution. Ramy needs better triceps as well as Shawn, and Kai, he can't match up Phil and Brandon at the lateral head thickness, but he is pretty impressive overall. Up next is the abs and thighs, and we have a clear last place in Phil Heath. Kai is also blocky, but he has the advantage of having a better V-taper. Flex Lewis is a wild card. We can't really count him out in any pose because nobody can anticipate how he would look in the men's open. Brandon Curry looked excellent at this show, but I don't think he can go against Ramy and Shawn in this pose, who are clearly the top two here, and moreover Shawn Rhoden, at least for me, is clearly winning this pose. Last pose is the most muscular. Phil and Flex have similar characteristics, having round arms and shoulders. Big Ramy is the biggest, which is always an advantage, especially in the most muscular. Brandon has potential in this pose as well, especially upper body. Shawn and Kai have their own strong points here, so we can't really count anyone out. But my pick would be Phil if he brings a similar package with a better midsection. Otherwise would be Big Ramy. So this was my video for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you did. Let me know who is your favorite to win this year's Olympia if all these guys show up. Or maybe guys like Hadi Choopan, William Bonac or Rolly Winkler can pull off an upset. Everything is possible. One thing I know for sure, we're living in one of the best generations of bodybuilders right now, regardless if people want to admit this or not. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you guys and see you next time.